Hey there, everyone. This is Cass with SCNS Live. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to check out the video version of this, you can check it out on YouTube. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, all at SCNS Live. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Episode of SCNS Live. My name is Kat. I'm always Kat, mostly Kat, something like that. And I'm not doing this show by myself. No one thought I was, but whatever. Everybody tell them who you are.
Hi, I'm Near. I'm just one of the voices in your head.
That's cool. You're not the prominent one, though. He's way meaner.
My name is Cass. Sorry, genuinely, I was about to introduce myself as you. All right, we're good.
I'm the artist formerly known as Bryce Culver.
I'm not calling you some symbol. And behind the curtain, making everything look as decent as he can on little notice, we have Jason.
Oh, it's been a struggle.
Go back, please. I don't know what I'm doing. There's just buttons and lights. I'm good. I'm
You will
good.
now
Everything's
be
fine.
known as Jason the Eye.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Don't believe him.
Struggling.
Yeah, I don't believe
disturbing.
him. We have more interesting things to talk about, though. Let's start it out with some super cool nerd news. It's not me first.
No, it's me first because I pulled the shortest straw, okay? So my news is the Flash movie finally found its director. And I'm so happy because I needed the Flash movie to actually happen. And it has found its director with Andy Fettuccini, because I can't pronounce his last name. It's close enough. You can kind of get there. I mean, he's the director for the It movies, and those have been phenomenal so far. So, I mean, I'm just excited for Flash to finally happen, okay? My wife got her Wonder Woman movie. I'm going to get my Flash movie. I just need it to happen sooner.
Do we know when?
No. It's gone through a bunch of struggles where it had different directors signed up, and then they fell off, and then they had trouble with writers as well. So Ezra Miller really wanted it to happen, so he wrote his own scripts that they were going to use, and then they decided to not go with that at all anyway. Like, he hired a writer, they wrote the whole movie, and then they said, okay, we'll take your scripts, and then they found directors and went, we're going to do this instead. So we got rid of his script, and I don't know, the movie's happening, and I'm excited. I love The Flash. So excited.
Yeah, absolutely same. I love the Flash, and Ezra Miller, I feel like didn't get his chance to shine in the Justice League, and so I'm excited to see his own interpretation. There were rumblings a while ago about Flashpoint, but I don't think we know anything.
We know nothing anymore because that Flashpoint was rumored for a little while, and then it just kept switching back and forth, and then Ezra Miller keeps being put in the spotlight as the Flash like he did in Suicide Squad with a brief moment, and then we're rebooting Suicide Squad, so that doesn't count anymore. So I mean, I'm just glad because he's so excited. Have you seen his interviews about the Flash? And when he got his own action figure, he got so happy.
He lost his mind.
I was so happy for him too.
Yeah,
And he's so good.
Oh yeah,
he really is.
I really enjoyed his performance in Justice League. He was basically the comedy relief in that film. And I met him at Ace Comic-Con in New York, and he was wearing a Flash hat. So he takes pride in that character. He knows the history of that character. In order to help write a movie, I mean, that guy's enthusiastic.
oh yeah.
So I'm happy that he's going to get his shot, and I just wish that he and the others had already shot Justice League 2, but that did not come
that was supposed to come
happen,
out like
so
3 months ago or something like that. And,
Yeah.
and it didn't happen, but only like half the actors really care about their role enough. So just happy we're sticking with the ones that actually care about playing who they are.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I think he's talented, and he's also a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So he can bring all kinds of talent to the big screen.
I bet.
What is it with them hiring Flashes that are musicians?
Oh yeah.
I guess that's true. I didn't think about
Grant
that.
Gustin, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful voice.
Jeremy Renner's a musician, apparently.
Did you find out from that commercial?
I definitely found out from the Jeep commercial.
Absolute same.
What about the Hawkeye song that he sang?
Oh, I love that song.
That was amazing.
I also loved his SNL skit too, where he only brought like 11 arrows.
I took out 11 aliens. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Just gonna go wait in the car now. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I could keep talking about the Flash. I'll move it to you.
Thank you very much. So last year, Telltale Games closed its doors after some unfortunate press and some unfortunate things that happened. I think around 250 people lost their jobs. Well, Telltale Games is coming back. A company called LCG Entertainment has actually bought the company and are looking to move forward with some of their projects that were left behind, including Batman and The Wolf Among Us, which I didn't actually play.
I did.
Was it good?
It was interesting.
Nice. We have James Ottley, I think it's his last name, and Brian Waddle, that's just my favorite name ever, are directing some of these projects, and they are looking to hire some of the people that were left behind when Telltale Games did close their doors. They're looking to offer them some temporary roles for now, and they're hoping to offer them more permanent positions in the future. This is obviously, it's really exciting for those people, but also for anyone that really liked Telltale Games. And they also said that there are other expired licenses that they're looking to move forward on other than just Wolf Among Us and Batman. We do know for a fact that The Walking Dead will not be among those titles. Their license basically expired, so they can no longer make The Walking Dead games. But pretty much everything else is open to coming back, which is really exciting. Did any of y'all play Telltale? I played Batman. But it's the only one I played.
I saw videos of Batman and watched a little bit because I love the Joker. He's like my favorite DC villain.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see how they did it, and that was weird. But I mean, it's not a game I'll play. But I played like The Walking Dead. I played a little of The Wolf Among Us, but I didn't play the Borderlands one. Weirdly, I really wanted to.
I played the Borderlands one.
How was it? I just love the characters in 3.
The only thing I want to play a video game. I don't want to read a video game animated story.
It's definitely a blend of the two concepts. It's half choose your own adventure and half, well, not even half straight up video game. It's like a quarter
the problem
of traditional video games.
The Telltale Games is the fact that it's exactly that. You're kind of choosing your adventure where you go, and they picked these titles that are more open story based that you could have fun with, like Batman. I mean, if I'm gonna play like Arkham Asylum versus the Telltale one, I'm gonna go Arkham Asylum because I get to go around beating up people as Batman and doing what I want. While like Borderlands, I'm gonna find 1,000 guns and play the hell out of that game and just be super happy with the fact that I'm playing Borderlands.
Yeah.
But like The Walking Dead made sense.
Yeah.
Like they made a Walking Dead game where you played as Daryl, and that one was okay. I enjoyed it, but like playing with little Clem just made a whole lot of sense, and I was super involved, and I didn't want her to die, which is why I'm upset, because now I don't know what's going to happen to her.
It's kind of a bummer. It is a bummer that Walking Dead, which is arguably the best of these titles, isn't coming back. However, I did play Batman, and while I am always a little bit disappointed to have to see a lot of Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne is an amazing character. They did lean a little heavy on Bruce Wayne making decisions when we all know that Bruce Wayne's first inclination is just to go beat up a bunch of people. But I did think it was an interesting take on Batman, and if they do make another Batman game, I'm absolutely willing to play it. Yeah. Kat, what do you got for us?
So, speaking of nostalgia and video games, in 1993, there was a game on the Sega Genesis and like Game Boy and a few other platforms called Aladdin. And the next year, 1994, had The Lion King on Super NES, NES, and Game Boy. Well, Disney announced that they're bringing both of those back in a package together called the Disney Classic Games Aladdin and The Lion King. It's a subtle name there. It's coming to the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC for $30 on October 29th. It is a version of the game called The Final Cut, which will be the original game, some Final Cut, like I guess bonus levels and stuff, and a trade show demo that hasn't been released since the trade shows that they were at. Anyway, I'm really excited about this. I played the Aladdin game. I remember a really hard level with lava in the magic carpet trying to escape the Cave of Wonders, you know. I didn't get much further than that, but it was extremely nostalgic for me to read about them coming back. What do you guys think?
I never played them. I had other games that I played, like Mega Man and Metroid, and I'll gush about those all day.
We all played Mega Man and Metroid.
And we all played... Super Metroid is one of my favorite games.
We can all gush about them all day, but I don't know anything about those games other than the fact that I just watched the movies and then the live-action movies, except for The Lion King. Haven't gotten there yet.
This is maybe unsurprising, but yes, I played Aladdin, and I did not make it much further than the Cave of Wonders, because it's one of the hardest levels I've ever seen in a video game. But Aladdin was super fun. I played The Lion King. I didn't love it, but I would absolutely be willing to play Aladdin again. It's a fun game.
I mean, you're older now, so it's a little bit easier to do.
Hopefully my hand-eye coordination's a little bit better than it was when I was 7.
Or at least not worse.
There you
go. That's really where I want to sit.
I mean, hopefully.
I played Lion King, the board game, with my kids.
Wow.
If that counts for anything. But
we need to bring back board games.
Was it Monopoly?
No, it was not Monopoly. No. You try not to become deceased.
Oregon Trail? That's the only one I can think of. I mean,
I'm sorry, Simba has dysentery.
Gosh, one of my friends was playing Oregon Trail, and his friend, one of the characters, died of thirst 2 feet away from the river. It just that game's cool. Okay.
Sometimes it'd be like that. What do you think? Nice.
Yeah, and how is everybody on that game doing for you?
There have been several deaths along the trail.
Show the game. Show the game.
My daughter got this for my birthday because she said it was an old game like you, Dad.
That's fair.
It is an amazing game, Oregon Trail.
As far as the 2 Disney games, though, I played both, and I just call this the, hey, I'm nostalgia, give me your money.
I mean, it worked when they re-released Mega Man. I mean, I paid for it too. I mean,
oh yeah, Chrono Trigger on my phone. You think that's not nostalgia?
I don't know. Like, I'm really excited about this. I read an article recently that said that video games are the new TV shows, and that you used to be, if you watched a TV show or you didn't watch it when it came out, you wouldn't ever have that experience again. If you missed the episode or whatever, there was really no recovering that. You could try and find somebody who taped it or something. And video games are very much that way, in that they get archived and you can't just play them on your updated systems. Like one of my favorite phone games ever, Infinity Blade 3, was retired this year. And I like the idea of them bringing it back. I don't care if you have to pay for a little for it. They do have to recode it. Like, I get it.
It was a bit of a challenge to rewatch like certain TV shows when you were younger, because we didn't have the ability to record and have like the guide. So you were really proud when you said I had seen all of this show, every episode, or you were like a nerd like I was.
Like,
catching every episode of Rugrats because I felt accomplished. But now it's just I can go to Netflix and there's everything there. So I mean, it's a little different now. It's not the same level of pride.
No. I didn't really have a lot of pride in that, but I don't think I watched any complete shows growing up.
I think shows were also like slated where you didn't have to. I mean, it was more sitcom. My wife and I got in this discussion yesterday where sitcoms from the 90s are such a better feel overall than sitcoms now, just based off acting and storytelling, because it's more
episodic.
They don't interlude. Like right now we're rewatching all of Dharma and Greg on Hulu because that show's hilarious, and nothing can really keep up with like sitcoms now in comparison. Like some of them do, like How I Met Your Mother was really good, Scrubs did a really good job, but I honestly can't think of any sitcoms that I'm trying to keep up with right now other than like Fresh Off the Boat.
The Good Place.
I love Speechless.
Speechless. Yeah. What have you got, Bryce, for this week?
I really enjoyed the Rugrats, by the way.
Oh, it's
I've
fun.
never
It's a good
seen
show.
any of it.
Yeah.
It's weird now if
Tommy-
you didn't watch it then.
Tommy and Chucky.
So is
Yeah.
Ash.
Yeah. Reptar. Good stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
The 90s are coming back.
No.
I mean, Invader Zim has the movie. And I
Yeah.
loved it. It was absolutely phenomenal. Rocko's Modern Life came back. I mean, a lot of stuff's coming back from the 90s.
Yeah. I think there's a big tour with Salt and Pepper and Vanilla Ice coming to town pretty soon too, kids.
Does
So
he
check
just
that
sing
out.
the one song and then sit down? Is that how it goes?
I think he sings one other one from the Mutant Ninja Turtle movie,
Yeah.
Secret of the Ooze.
Wait, you said
Yeah.
vanilla and salt and pepper?
Vanilla Ice and Salt and Pepper. Would you please put pepper at the end? Don't put pepper. It's not pepper.
Salt and pepper doesn't go in
I'm
ice
sorry,
cream.
it's pepper.
I'm
Pepper.
confused.
It's not even spelled like pepper.
No, it's not.
Peppa.
Yeah,
But
Like the pig?
No.
like the pig.
I guess pronunciation wise, yes. But, characteristically, no.
Okay, dim the lights.
Let's
The
pretend that
saga-
it happened.
Right.
I can't do that.
I need you to do that. The saga of Michael Myers is going to continue.
Is
As
this
you
the
may have
killer
heard-
or Austin Powers?
This would be the
Aren't
neighbor.
they the same?
This would be the guy that hangs around your tall bushes and only looks at you and never speaks.
That could
Not-
still
not
be.
helpful.
That could still be
That's
the
not
Not
S.
helpful.
That's the
Oh.
British spy one.
That's the British spy one.
Okay, it's not the pervy one.
I dimmed your lights.
Again.
Oh, again, it's not helping.
No.
Oh, sorry. It's the. Thank you for dimming them. No, it's the one that usually carries a knife.
Again.
You're
Or-
not helping.
Sorry.
Okay, hang in there.
The one-
I'll try to
the
make
one
it
with
clear.
The Shatner mask?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
That still may not help.
Well, hang in there. I'll help you. So we had the 40-year anniversary of the original film by Carpenter, which I thought was wonderful. I saw it twice in the theater in
That was
2018.
good.
Yeah, I really liked it. So the follow-up film being brought to you by Danny Bride and his cohorts, they've got two films planned. The first one is Halloween Kills. It's coming out second week of October next year. Or no, I'm sorry, 2021. I got that wrong. I believe it was 2021. Anyway, so what's interesting about casting that has happened is that the original Tommy Doyle in the film that Laurie Strode babysat in the first film was played by Brian Andrews. I'm sorry, Brian Andrews, who you may or may not remember from 3 O'Clock High as the nerdy kid. Okay, nobody remembers that from 1987, 3 O'Clock High. But you may remember that Tommy Doyle was played by Paul Rudd in Halloween 5.
That I remember.
Right. So we've had five different Tommy Doyles, 5 different actors portraying him, but we've got a sixth one, and he's an iconic actor in my mind. He's been in a lot of great films. Edward Scissorhands.
Is it Paul Rudd again?
Available, by the way, in case you're wondering. Apparently he's filming some small comedy called Ghost Busting or something. So he can't hired Michael Anthony Hall, who can play a lot younger or you can play a bully really well. If you've seen him in Edward
Community.
Scissorhands or Community. Yeah. So we have a new Tommy Doyle that's going to be, I guess, hanging out with Laurie Strode and Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm excited for this because I like Michael Anthony Hall. He was great in The Dead Zone, and I think he's a quality actor. I think he's got a great face for horror films. I think he brings a lot to the screen.
I'm just glad that they're bringing in another actor because, I mean, everything from is Halloween 4 or 5 onward was just absolutely horrible. So if you brought back Paul Rudd, there'd be a lot of questions, especially since this Halloween movie takes place immediately after the first Halloween. The timeline's horrible. I don't know how to explain it. It's bad.
Oh yeah, because they made most of them non-canonical because there was a thing where he was like her brother or something.
There's so many different timelines from Halloween, and one of them, it's like one, and like you have one, and you have two, and those were supposed to be back to back, and that was supposed to be the end of Halloween, and then like the whole thing was that they were going to start a new, different like storyline that takes place with completely different characters and different stuff, which was like Halloween 3, which is the whole mask thing, because then they made Halloween the movie they were watching, and then it goes back to Michael Myers, and then it switches to another storyline where all of a sudden, like, different characters. It's weird. The timeline's all sorts of messed up.
Well, also, it was just the production of who was involved. Like, and 3, 4, and 5 didn't have any of the, like, OG writing and producing. I'm excited about it because I don't care who else is on the screen with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, same.
Like, she was so good that, like, it almost matters less who's behind the mask because the amount of realism she brings to it sells it. And the cinematography was really good.
She also just loves being in horror-related stuff. Like, my wife binge-watched
Scream
Queens.
I
watched
I saw
that
some
show.
of that one. I love her in it.
That was pretty good, too. She's just such a sassy actress. I'd be afraid of her being on this show just because I don't think I could take any of her sarcasm well, and I might cry in a corner.
Sassy is a weird word, but it's also 100% appropriate for who she was playing in Scream Queens and various other roles. I also loved her reaction to the, like, Jamie Lee Curtis thinks that gun control should be a bigger issue, even though her characters carry, like, sawed-off shotguns and stuff, and she's like, yeah, They pay me to do that for the role.
Also context.
Right.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, if I'm getting chased around by a serial killer, I'm probably carrying a sawed-off shotgun as well.
After watching the Halloween movie that came out last year, I am absolutely down for any Halloween movie in the future.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was so good.
You should watch it. It's really good. Really interesting, like long shot cinematography style. If you're a film buff, they did a lot of really cool stuff, including a whole scene in one shot. Normally, I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like you lose some of the story because you're like, look what I can do by staying on the same shot. And that really irritates me. It's like Tom Hooper doing musicals where it's like, look what I can do instead of just telling the freaking story. Right. But they pulled it off. It's got a nice continuity to it.
iTunes runs movie sales and different stuff every Tuesday, like for a week. And I want to say Halloween is one of those movies that's on there right now. I think you can get it for like $10.
Nice.
So, I mean,
I don't own any movies.
I do digitally, and I have 4K movies.
I think I still have Freaky Friday somewhere.
Yeah.
I still like to buy physical media. Because what?
Nothing.
I would too if I had somewhere to put it.
I don't have a place to put it, but I
still ran most of my stuff out of a VCR.
Doesn't stop me from buying toys.
Don't own a VCR any longer. But
got rid of it last year.
We can talk about that in 2 weeks.
No, it broke a long time ago.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow some other VCR from. I'm gonna go to Blockbuster or something.
Just get one of the TVs that has the VCR built in. I mean, then you'll never lose it.
Yeah, but they're also like 45 pounds.
You laugh, but I had a giant like tube TV until I was 19, and then eventually it just died, and I had to go get a.
That's what happened with me. I didn't have a flat screen until I had to buy one.
By the way, I do still own a Laserdisc player. Rarely use it, but
what the crap is a Laserdisc?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I need to correct what I said earlier. It doesn't come out in 2021. The film does come out October 16th of 2020.
Nice.
Okay.
So we don't have as long to wait, which is exciting.
Nice.
And let's just say that 51-year-old Anthony Michael Hall, I think, will make a great addition to the cast. In my opinion, I'm excited for it. And apparently they're going to start shooting this film in a couple of weeks. So maybe we'll get some more information about the film later. Not that I need it, because I'm going to watch it day 1 or day 2. It doesn't matter, information or no. I'm excited for it.
You just text me. We'll meet you there.
Yeah.
You're too scared to see horror movies.
As long as you hold my hand while we're watching the movie, I'll be okay. All right.
That is adorable. Jason, what have you got?
I was going to talk about the first computer chip made solely of
nanotubes.
Carbon nanotubes. But instead, I decided to, well, I'm going to bitch about Hellboy. So if you don't have your microphone on and you're just chatting it up there, I made a joke about microchips and carbon fiber nanotubes. Anyway, if you were disappointed in the last Hellboy movie, remember there was a comic and you can always go back to it. And that's what Mike Mignola is doing. Yes, the creator of Hellboy will be going back to the title character. He is reunited with Adam Hughes, one of my favorite artists, to produce a new story, Hellboy and the BPRD, the Seven Wives Club. I put the cover of the Mignola album or comic up, but here is the one that Adam Hughes drew, and it is fantastic. If you haven't read a Hellboy comic and want to see what Ron Perlman was basing his character on, then I recommend you go read that book. It is slated to come out. The story, it's a one-shot, and it's coming out during Christmas. The Victorians used to read and tell ghost stories during the Christmas season. We might not be reading by candlelight these days, but I do like a good ghost story during the holiday season, especially when there are stolen cadavers, vengeful spirits, and art by Adam Hughes. That is right from Mike Mignola himself. So he is returning to Hellboy to do a one-shot. I could not be happier. Yay, comics. I'm sorry that last Hellboy movie just wasn't good.
So I didn't watch the new Hellboy movie. I wanted to.
Was it scary?
No.
No.
It looked actually awesome in the trailers, and then I heard that it was horrible. So I started watching the first Hellboy movie because I'd never actually seen Hellboy.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it and I loved it. And then I was going to go pick up Hellboy comics and then got distracted yesterday and picked up a Power Ranger comic instead. So
fair enough.
That's what I did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of want to read the comics and I kind of don't because I saw the second movie, and at the risk of triggering Jason, I hate his character. I hated it. I hated him.
Yeah.
I thought he was he's just such a masochist. I have to save the world and no one can help me. And it's just for a comic called Hellboy about basically a tiefling dude is the most white savior thing I've ever seen. Did not care for it. Kind of interested to read the comic. Also don't want to be reminded of Ron Perlman's stupid face. It's kind of half and half. What do you guys think?
I would like to read the book. I love the first Hellboy movie. I don't have a good recollection of the second one. I would have to watch it again.
No.
Okay.
What about the animated ones?
I haven't seen the animated, but I love Adam Hughes' art. I mean, he's great at drawing the female form. I don't think I've ever seen him draw anything like Hellboy before, so I'm curious to see what that looks like. Why are you laughing?
I've never heard.
And then you could just read it for the articles.
There we
That's
go.
where it
saying,
sounds
is he
like
doing-
that's
Is he
going.
doing the entire issue or just the cover?
No, entire issue.
Good.
It didn't work when we were 16. It's not going to work now.
I haven't ever heard anyone without a neck beard say female form.
You're welcome.
I mean,
Are you saying I should be a hipster?
That's one more off the bucket list.
Neck beard doesn't mean hipster.
What are you saying?
Bryce, how was your day?
Right?
Yeah.
Stereotypical nerd
What'd you do today?
basement, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I don't do the neck beard.
Wouldn't be great.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe somebody will give it to me, and then I might read it. Or it could just be cool cosplay wrapping.
If I do decide to pick one up, I'll loan it to you.
Oh,
That's
nice.
what we'll do.
If you don't get distracted.
I mean, it was that or Soul of the Dragon that had Tommy come back as a Power Ranger. I mean, I had to know.
Oh, yeah,
fully
we
support
know
your decision.
all about the Power Rangers.
I hate you, Jason.
They're the ones that make a big monster,
Join
right?
the club.
You brought me back in. Man,
Is that the GoBots?
just growing up, I thought I was past that, and I was just like, I am all done with Power Rangers. Okay, I am an adult now. I don't need to do any more Power Rangers. That's a kids show. And then the Power Rangers figures came out, and here we are.
You realize this doesn't play in a visual medium, right?
I didn't realize Jason heard me. He got
You are
real
next to-
mad.
You are
He
next
got
to a
real big
microphone.
mad.
He's
Yeah.
wearing
Well,
headphones.
now I remember that.
Is Abe Sapien in it?
The comic.
I don't. It is. It's got the BPRD, so I expect.
Yeah. Should be
multiple characters from the BPRD in there. So yeah.
Yeah, only cool character from the movies.
Yep. Anyway, so tonight we're talking about D23 and announcements and shows and stuff.
I was hoping that would get more media coverage. It hasn't. Seems to be like not very well covered.
Which is funny.
I think you follow the wrong medians then, because I got tons of coverage. Like, I was at work just scrolling through like Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, and there's just more and more stuff. Now there was some stuff that like flew under the radar for me, but to be fair, it was also stuff I wasn't looking for. Like, I have no interest in watching High School Musical, the musical about the musical. I don't care.
I hope that after this they do High School Musical, the musical,
The movie.
Making of High School Musical, the musical
I think
documentary.
the main thing they wanted to cover during Disney, just their D23 was, hey, Disney Plus is going to be pretty awesome. You should sign up right now.
They already convinced me.
Yeah, really, like you could have just published like a title card for that, and I would be done.
They did kind of slap us around with that information, didn't they?
Like with D23, like D23 basically came forward and said, "Hey, here's Disney Plus. This is everything you need to know about Disney Plus. Oh, by the way, you're going to sign up for Disney Plus." And I had already agreed to the moment they said Marvel TV series.
Here's your gateway drug, kids.
And then they showed me other stuff. Like, I mean, I was somewhat interested in looking at Lady and the Tramp. I also didn't care at the same time, but
Not at all.
The minute they put the actual dogs on the red carpet, I was done. Like, please stop.
I showed that trailer to my wife, and my wife was just like, "Oh, this looks good." And then they started talking, and she was like, "I don't know what I was expecting. Like, it's a Disney movie. I knew they were going to talk. I was just hoping that they would just keep their mouths closed." And I was like, "Here we are."
Couldn't they have done it Wishbone style? That's all I'm saying.
They could have. I don't know what I was expecting. We just had the Lion King.
Does
come
it
out,
irritate you with that? Like, I have a hard time with it. That just eliminates my suspension of disbelief is when their mouths are trying to move, but that's not the sounds that you could produce from those vocal cords.
That bothers me only a little bit, but it only bothers me in the sense of the way that you look at other movies and kind of look at it in disbelief. Like, if I sit there and I watch a movie and it's in France and everyone's starting to speak English just perfectly, then that's my problem, because everyone should be speaking French or other stuff like that. So the same concept came with the dog's opening his mouth, and like when most animals talk like that, they still have to make some kind of sound, but humans just don't hear it, or they're just barking and no one acknowledges that, and that bothers me.
Could do it Annihilation style, where they just open their mouths and then all the words come out.
I don't know which would be worse in that case. I mean, then the dog's just opening its mouth and words come out.
I mean, there are other ways to do it. Like,
during
Wishbone and don't watch Annihilation. Did you watch Annihilation?
I didn't watch Annihilation.
Yeah.
Oh, if
it
you
would
don't like
scare
scary
the
things,
crap
don't
out of
you?
you. Or
I'm very
maybe
flip-floppy
not.
with horror movies, okay?
It wasn't horror exactly. It does have the most disturbing scene I've ever seen in a movie, I think, but it wasn't horror. So it's
I did
weird.
cry because I was scared in a non-horror movie. So
It's happened.
take that what you will. I was excited about the Peggy Carter, the What If announcement.
Very excited about it.
But I was also expecting it.
Well, so I've talked about this before outside of the show, where I think What If will be a fantastic series. I do not understand why it's a part of Phase 4, though. Like, if it's alternate universe storytellings and it's animated, then why does it have to be considered part of the MCU Phase 4? Just make it a TV series and animate it.
No, this is how Marvel does things. Like that, you can't put this over here on their whiteboard. Like, it doesn't work.
It's a flow chart, but it all goes down.
I just have a lot of problems with the way that Disney is incorporating Phase 4 entirely. Like, all the shows they're shows. Like, I'm just used to having it being movies. I could have understood it a little bit more if they included the Netflix stuff as a part of it. Like, I know there was a whole big toss-up with that going on, but just, I don't like the fact that really Phase 4 is consisted of, like, 2 or 3 movies, and then it's all TV shows.
They're trying to get to a cross-branding place, I think. A complete vertical and horizontal kind of monopoly over their content that includes lifestyle. I understand why it's happening. I don't love how they're presenting it, but I honestly feel like cons and gatherings like this as a presentation for your new content anyway is a little bit iffy.
Well, it kind of goes against what he said originally, which was I didn't want to include the Netflix Defenders stuff because I thought it was unnecessary for people to have to watch 22 movies and then like 3 seasons of 4 different shows, including the Defenders, and then they go and say, "Oh, by the way, Phase 4 is filled with TV shows. You got to watch those in order for it to make sense."
Although we are also not having a big team up at the end of Phase 4, so I don't know, do we necessarily have to watch all these things?
I think they're about to phase
probably.
the thing out where we understand it as phases. That's where I would be headed.
I don't know.
You
if
needed
that's true.
phase 3, and then I feel like they're going to call it by years or time periods or like
Again, I don't know
eras.
if that's actually true because just because there's no team up movie at the end, which disappoints me a little bit. There's still a team up at the end of Phase 5, and if you're going to build up things like the Winter Soldier and Falcon becoming Captain America and stuff like that, then you still need to watch all of those for it to somewhat make sense. But I think it'll be the same way that if you went into Endgame, you would still feel like this was an amazing movie. You just don't get as big of an impact if you hadn't seen everything.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I think like with that, you could have like a checklist of things that you could have seen that could enhance it. But like our understanding of it as phases per se doesn't match very well with their TV show and movies approach without team ups and all of that. So I think they're about to start calling it by eras or by like bigger conflict going on within that universe, something like that. Like
maybe. Also, I feel like my understanding of Avengers Endgame would have actually been enhanced if I hadn't seen Thor Ragnarok. So they decided to change everything about his character. Something else I was excited about.
Where we hate on that one a lot. We hated it. Cass and I.
See, and I liked Thor Ragnarok, but I hate the first Thor movie.
Anyway.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the first movie. Well, it's a massive undertaking. All these different series. I don't care how it's presented, to be honest, at their panels. The flow chart and all. I don't really care. I just want, like a kid. I feel like a kid again in this age. Growing up, I mean, I used to go to the comic shop and I used to buy, all these different titles: Avengers, Spider-Man, X-Men, and different titles, DC and Marvel. But I think it's fantastic that we're getting all these TV shows.
What are you most excited about? That they announced.
I mean, it's hard for me to pick one, but if I have to pick one, it would have to be She-Hulk, because I didn't think I would ever see that, at least for another 10 years or more, maybe, if ever. I'm truly excited by that. I'm not sure how they're going to pull it off, but I can't wait because I think it's going to be a mix of comedy and adventure, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
By the way, and I love how they did it during I got the presentation how they did Hulk, and then that was great.
So sell us She-Hulk in 30 seconds. Who is it? Where's she from? What's going on?
Well, Jennifer Walters gets an infusion of blood, and it's not the infusion of blood that most people would have wanted because of what it does to her body after she has an accident.
Well, she's his cousin, right?
Yes. Yeah, Bruce's.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got the Savage She-Hulk, and then you've got the more comedic She-Hulk.
That's the one I want.
Right? And I was introduced to the Savage She-Hulk as a kid, issue number 1, 1980. I loved it, but it got even better with John Byrne and the comedic She-Hulk, and when she was a lawyer. If they do like Boston Legal meets Savage She-Hulk, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Put it on. I'm going to watch it more than once.
3 words: break fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be there. It has to be there.
I don't know if it does. Now that we have Deadpool in the MCU, I mean, part of the whole story that you have going on with the full MCU doesn't involve having to break the fourth wall. We stick there for story. I'm all for comedic. You have comedic with action, and the fact that the one photo you sent me, which was her holding Wolverine, that's the perfect comedy that I want from that movie. just
the fact they own X-Men, and I'm so much closer to getting that scene, makes me so happy.
It was the scene where like he's sitting like with a little bullet in her hand, waiting to like be tossed, and she's like, "Don't you usually do this with a dude?" And he's like, "We don't talk about that." And she's like, "You have a nice little tight butt."
You got a nice butt there.
See, like, and that's what I want from the series. I think breaking the fourth wall would be too far, except for the fact that because we have Deadpool now, and Deadpool's already going to make all sorts of jokes. I mean, it's going to be fine.
That's fine.
More than one character that does that.
Yeah. A fourth wall break off.
It's just, I think it'd be too much.
Yeah,
I think you could make a strong argument for that. If it were me doing the whole thing, I would have her occasionally do it in her own show, maybe. And then anything she's in with Deadpool, she doesn't do it. It's only him through the whole time until one time when he's talking to the camera and she comes up and she's like, "We're doing a thing. Stop talking to them," or some crap pulls him back. Like, you could make a moment out of that without ruining the whole thing.
It could be just subtly maybe her narrating.
It could.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I want the most is I want Deadpool in an MCU PG-13 movie, not his own movie.
Well,
I want him to guest star in a PG-13 movie somewhere, realize you can only use the F-bomb once, and then have him wait throughout the whole movie to find the perfect time, someone else take it, and then him get really angry.
That's really just our show in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I can cast She-Hulk if we want to start.
Yes,
if we want to try that. I've got a couple of ideas.
Go.
Rosario Dawson.
Oh, yes.
I like her a lot. I think she could do the comedic as well as some of the physical.
Easily.
Yep. And if you've seen Warcraft and the character Garona, Paula Patton.
She was really good. That's
so
a
those
good
are my
idea.
two.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, Paula Patton.
That's actually perfect. I wouldn't have thought of that.
I can't fan cast. It's just...
I know what I want. It's and I'm willing to give new actors chances on this too. We don't have to have these people because we've seen what new actors can do with these roles. So
I mean, look at Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I mean, I know that everyone's sore and I'm extremely salty, but I didn't know who Tom Holland was when they casted Spider-Man.
I didn't know who it was.
And he's one of my favorite Spider-Man.
It's kind of like me and Robert Pattinson as Batman. I have no idea who he is.
I didn't know who Chris Evans was when he got cast as Captain America.
Really? You weren't a huge fan of
What's my
Fantastic
number?
Four?
No, I was thinking not another teen movie.
Yeah.
That I didn't see.
He plays a
I've
jock
seen it now.
who was obsessed with himself.
It was genuinely a hilarious role for him.
Phenomenal. I mean, it also depends on when you get into the movies. Like, I was young enough to not really know who like actors and actresses were. I didn't keep up with that stuff. So, like, going into the first Iron Man movie, I had no idea who Robert Downey Jr. was because I didn't care at the time.
Oh, I did. He was that guy from U.S. Marshals that got caught in all that coke. That's what I knew about Robert Downey Jr.
Please don't do that. So really don't do that.
By the way, I just want to say we don't have to. I mean, Deadpool, I welcome Ryan Reynolds in any property as a guest star. You know, I'd like to see a lot of these Disney streaming shows cross over. I mean, we might not be able to get a huge team up film or show, and that's fine. But if we're gonna, I always like the Spider-Man Hulk dynamic in the comics, so I would be very okay with the idea of maybe introducing Spider-Woman at some point in the She-Hulk series, because I've been asking and wanting a Spider-Woman series for Netflix or Disney.
Drew Spider-Woman.
I do want a Jessica Drew Spider-Woman, and I want Christian Serratos possibly to play her.
Well, I mean that's theoretical.
Yeah.
Let's talk about shows that are actually.
I'm just saying.
No, we were talking about some fan casting before the beginning of the show.
The one I'm excited about, and I think it's going to be a sleeper hit, is Winter Soldier and Falcon. I keep wanting to say Captain Falcon. I played too much Super Smash Brothers, but
well, he's Captain Falcon to us.
Just I love the poster. Bucky's cleaned himself up.
Yeah,
and there's just a little bit of white in Falcon's costume.
So you know that they announced already with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier stuff that he's not going to go by Captain America at all. He's what they've announced, and granted, I can't always say that that's going to be what's going to stay forever. he's saying that what's happening with that white, if you take a look at it, there's a ton of red, and what it is you're getting a comic accurate Falcon costume.
Okay, first of all, let's not do anything close to Falcon's costume in the comics, because I have said before, I hated Snap Wilson in the comic. Yes, because his name was Snap Wilson. They called me Snap because he was a black sports. Anyway, moving on, I like Anthony Mackie as the Falcon.
Me too.
So, okay, the subject of the series is the U.S. government, though, has approved a new Captain America, which is being played by Wyatt Russell, who we found out before the show, son of Kurt Russell. Yeah. And he's going to be playing the U.S. agent. If you've read any of the Avengers Great Lakes stuff, or not Great Lakes, West Coast Avengers.
There you go.
John Walker, kind of crazy, kind of a psychopath. He's more likely to beat someone to death than be Captain America, but I'm gonna like it. And Wyatt Russell, big dude, was a hockey player. He goes about 6'2", so I'm waiting for like that dynamic where he like towers over Bucky and Sam, and he's like, "Give me the shield." And I think we're gonna get a good just moment of Falcon giving him a speech of, "No, I'm not giving you the shield," and here's why.
Man, I'm so excited for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was one of the ones that I really wanted. I love Captain America as just a character in general, and I know it's not the same one. This is clearly Captain Falcon, but like I wonder, he's going to be Captain Falcon the same way on alternate heads. I called it Smexy Rexy. Okay, just gotta let it go. So Winter Soldier is another one of my favorite characters. So to see him and the Falcon relationship just continue to grow, because they had a really funny dynamic throughout most of those movies.
So I missed the original storyline. Was it just straight racism that they didn't want him to be?
Yeah, in the comics, they
cut
were
and
doing
dry, like we don't want a black Captain America.
Think about like when, I mean, let's not get too political on the show. When Obama became president, pretty much that reaction. Not my Captain America.
You don't even need that. Just think about when they announced that Falcon was going to be Captain America in the original comics.
Let's just go. They could probably pull lines from Twitter for this show.
Every single movie and stuff that was announced that's going with some of the more recent comic trends, you can think of the same backlash that came from it. Like when
I've seen the recent stuff. I just wasn't familiar with the storyline in the comics.
It's the same way. It's just that's the comparison you can take. Is just take what you saw in the real world aspect and put it there.
Unfortunately, like it's still super relevant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the one that I'm most surprised about,
you can't use mine.
No, we predicted it on the show. We said what would be a good character to bring to the screen, and we said Miss Marvel. I love that they're doing. We said it. Well, okay.
I never expected it.
I said it. I said I wanted this, and I can't believe they went there. Thank you. Because Kamala Khan is one of the funniest characters in the Marvel Universe right now. And we don't have to overplay the whole, she's of Muslim faith. We don't have to overplay anything. Just be Kamala Khan being goofy and nerding out when she meets other heroes.
That's what I love. I love this dynamic of like, if you make somebody a star, the star of the show, then you don't have to spend a lot of time like integrating every single part of something. They can just be who they are with the Muslim faith and with all of that. And if they're the star in their role, they'll get those moments.
Exactly.
And it seems like the right thing to do, but also it's going to be a great show.
How do we get Brie Larson for this show, though?
I don't think you have to do anything. I think she'll be there for it.
Because I kind of want that comic origin. Because in the comics, she basically came into her powers, and because she had a thought about Captain Marvel, her body transformed into Captain Marvel in the old school black leotard, and she was trying to figure out how to change herself back and everything. She's actually really powerful in the comics. So,
I kind of want that origin. Piece her out for a lot of Endgame.
I would love, Brie Larson at this point, though we've been sped up on her existence in the MCU. She's kind of an old hat to the hero game as far as that timeline. I could see her, maybe, kid, I got a lot of work to do out there in space, but maybe you could watch the home base for me. Just something like that. Yeah. Even if it's only maybe one episode we can get Brie Larson for. I want that.
You could shoot her entirely separately, like a season at a time in a couple of days, like via hologram or something. And then have her have brief conversations with her. They'd be one-sided. They'd be super easy to do from a production standpoint.
Disney's writing the check. She better get her butt there. Okay.
That
I'm just saying, to give you what you want on an even more frequent basis, they could have conversations via hologram.
Okay, I'll take that. We don't even need her. She's not a constant in the comics.
Right.
But I do want some interaction between the two.
Hopefully they're writing better contracts these days.
That does bring me to the only thing, because I would like to talk about something other than Marvel about D23, but the one thing that I did want to talk about with Marvel was that I would love to see more crossovers than we saw with the Netflix The Defenders.
Oh, absolutely.
We would see a couple of them sometimes in a couple of episodes of each other's stuff. I would love to see people coming in and out constantly.
I totally agree.
Like Kat said, that comes down to contracts.
And I think they said they're going to do a lot of that with the Ghost Rider stuff that they're doing on Hulu. Yeah. Like, he's going to be kind of the crux of that mystical universe. So, yeah.
That's something that I really, really, really want to see.
But
lots of crossovers.
But Miss Marvel, so excited about.
Yeah.
I wanted this, and I got it. I'm like a kid at Christmas.
It's a little bit sad that we're kind of fan casting, trying to figure out fan casts, and I didn't have any names that immediately jump to the forefront as people I'd seen on television enough to recognize them. So I'm excited about this and them doing something really important, but with a fun storyline. So we don't have to spend the whole time talking about how important it is. We can just enjoy the characters while they're still doing something important.
Yeah.
There is an actress, Geraldine Viswanathan. She wants to play Miss Marvel. And after seeing it, I gotta think she's a little old. I want a younger actress. Because this is 14, 15-year-old kid.
Well, it depends on when you place them. Some people can be a little bit older, and you have to take a look at the way kids, act and dress now. So it could be there, especially if they just age her up a little bit.
Also, long term,
Yeah, it really just depends on how old they decide to make the character. As long as she's still in high school, it'll work.
She could run an Arrow flashback style.
It's kind of like when I saw Tom Holland with Spider-Man. It's like, how old is this kid? Oh, we can get him a while. We can get him through the college years until adulthood.
Yeah, that would be. I'm looking forward to seeing probably quite a bit of new talent around these. I think we're going to see several new faces that we haven't seen before.
Marvel does a good job of casting.
Well, there's one more before we get to the Star Wars stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm going to talk about that.
That guy over your left shoulder.
Quit taking my surprises.
But we called this one. We wanted this one.
I said we weren't going to get it. I think I flat out said on the show they're not about to make Moon Knight.
I think I agreed with you when we
we're okay. Moon Knight.
We want this
we're never getting Moon Knight.
But he's crazy.
Moon Knight was the answer to Batman, first of all.
Also,
he's kind of a
crazy.
white Batman. Also, he's insane. Also, he has a poorly defined power set, which makes him hard to do. Also, he's not entirely a good guy a lot of the time.
No, he is
also,
not.
He's one of the most adult comics that you can do in the way that he talks. He's Deadpool level of, just profane. He's a hard story to pull off.
I'm ready. And
he's got a lot of crossovers.
Yeah.
Including into some really weird Marvel properties like vampires.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they've got the rumor is right now.
Dracula was one of his.
Not even just Dracula. It's one of the wolves. I don't know.
It's Werewolf by Night.
Yes,
and Blade.
Yeah.
Are the other
they're unsure
ones he will probably cross over with.
Well, Werewolf by Night, no one knows. He might go into Moon Knight. He might go into Blade. But yeah, that's the ones they're talking about right now.
Yeah.
But we did not think that this was an on the horizon possibility. When we redid the studio design, I put Moon Knight front and center because I love him and his weird relationship with Doctor Strange and how angry he is all the time.
I love this logo, by the way.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It's
so clean.
One side is that silverish, and the other side looks like it's got some tech in it or something in the letters or whatever.
And also has a shout out to medieval style in the word knight itself and how it's done.
Moon Knight is a constant on several of our shows, by the way. On Alternate Heads, we talk about the Mezco Moon Knight figure that's coming out because it looks great, and I want it. I'm going to have it. So we just all need more Moon Knight in our lives, and we're getting it.
I'm calling it right now. I decided yesterday I will be cosplaying Moon Knight.
We've also talked about just there's outside of the show, Moon Knight keeps coming up. When we were talking about Keanu Reeves possibly going into the MCU, everyone was in agreement when we all said that he should be Moon Knight, and I still want that.
There's a Reddit forum I follow that everybody else is very excited they're getting Moon Knight, so they've been like posting the wackiest panels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The one where
Like
he's
the Dracula one.
No,
like-
the one where he's meditating in the park and someone's walking a dog behind him, and then all of a sudden he just screams out, "You're such an asshole! Stop talking to me! Guys, stop fighting!" And he goes back to meditating. And you just see a lady in the background opening up her dog and start running. And I'm like, I want that scene. I need that scene.
I saw the ones about Dracula and him owing him money and how mad he was about him. I saw the ones about like Wolverine lying to him to get him somewhere. I saw like ones of him being mad at Doctor Strange for not teaching him like some of the powerful stuff that would have helped him out. Like, this is a wacky character. And I was trying to fan cast him, and I was like, he's whatever's exactly between like Tyler Hoechlin and like Dylan O'Brien, like whatever's right in the middle.
Yeah.
That's where Moon Knight is, and I
still
don't
think
know.
I just want the craziest, like, I want the cool cape out
Stupid expensive.
and just like taking out
Yeah,
bad
but it's
guys
Disney,
left and
right?
right. And then I want that scene in the park. And I want stuff like that.
Well, so I may have complained about the whole idea behind like TV series versus the movies and stuff like that, but when you get TV series, you get much more time to develop the character and you get more fun scenes. So
And he needs
you
some
could
development.
possibly get that scene because it's a TV series. They're gonna take the time.
Yeah, and like Moon Knight is better as a TV series than it would be as a single
Oh,
movie. You're not going to be able to establish as many of his facets in like 2.5
The
hours.
character
Yeah.
development is going to be great.
I want
Or
him in the
4
insane
hours.
asylum.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey,
that's not as funny, but yeah,
it could be
that's
an
a good
art.
call.
No, I do.
You mean you can make it funny? Just think of the opening scene from the Constantine TV series and the Insane Asylum. That worked out really well.
Thank you.
If
I
you
love that
can't-
opening.
I loved it too.
If you can't think of the opening scene for the Constantine series, it's because they didn't tell you it was coming, really, and then they didn't tell you that they were making it, and then they canceled it for lack of interest.
I
It's
bought
on
it,
the
though.
it's on the
It's
DC
so
Universe
good.
I
app
love
though, and it's on the CW Seed app, and it's an amazing TV show, and you should catch him
It
on
was
Legends
so
of
good.
Tomorrow because Matt Ryan's amazing.
I think he's the perfect
He was
Constantine.
born to be
What
Constantine.
if Moon
It's
Knight's
beautiful.
in the asylum when we meet him and he just escapes to go fight
That's what
crime?
I would do.
That's
Yeah.
what I was
And
hoping
gets,
for.
Yeah.
and gets back in there. Like one of the personalities can just break out at any time. But I'm also crazy. I need to go back to these.
I would-
He's responsible enough to know he's insane.
I would start with the insane asylum and
Mhm.
have him all like drugged and like all quiet and stuff, and then he breaks out and not introduce kind of the multiple running personalities until the end of the first episode, and you're like, oh crap, he belonged there. He really was crazy.
Just the episode. Oh, that guy thinks he's a superhero. There's your
Try to
opening
be
scene.
any of those superheroes.
Yeah.
We are almost out of time. I do want to mention we had an announcement that Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series is actually happening
Well,
after
hello
some
there.
like.
Are we moving to Star Wars now? Because
Well, we
yes,
have 2 minutes.
I run the show.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm
Drag it
running
on.
this show.
Okay, but I'm running the time back here and Cora in here. I go crazy.
How often on alternate heads do we go over our
We
budget?
go over too much.
Well,
Is
that's 'cause
Mark
you guys
Spector
are
behind the
unprofessional.
controls
This is
tonight?
my
You
production
need to tell me
tonight.
that this
We don't
isn't a
need.
professional
This is
shirt
not
to
about me. Anyway,
I mean,
let's go to
it's
Star
the nerd
Wars.
brand.
Obi-Wan
Cats.
Kenobi is absolutely happening. This is my favorite thing that happened at D23.
I'm very excited.
Obi-Wan Kenobi
Absolutely.
is absolutely happening. Ewan McGregor is playing him. Could not be more excited.
What Obi-Wan are we? Are we getting? So we're getting Obi-Wan after Order 66, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
post Order 66, pre.
And are we going to have him on Tatooine or
Probably end with
I'm
him there.
hoping he bounces. I'm hoping we start with and then he bounces for a while and then he comes back. That's what I'm hoping.
Because we have nothing on that, but there's so much potential.
There's
Really is.
literally
And
like 20 years.
I follow Mr. Ray Park on Instagram. I notice he's doing a lot more lightsaber work these days, and
Okay.
Man,
and
he's
getting
the
more
nicest
guy.
Shay. Just
He's
Yeah.
so good.
He's
such
so
a-
good.
He's
I
a
met him at
stuntman with the face.
I met him at at Fan Days actually.
Mhm.
I didn't go to take a picture, but like there were tons of fans that just wanted to go say hi to him, and even though you're supposed to pay for pictures and autographs and stuff, he wouldn't care. He'd just be like, "Oh, well, come on, let's just take a picture real quick."
Yeah, he's dope.
He's really cool.
So I
he
think that's a
made
gimme.
that work for
He'll
him.
be there.
Like, if you look at it objectively, Darth Maul, not a great design. It's just two tones and that's
Busy.
it.
Yeah,
And
but he
Who
got
creates
more
the
character.
but he
character?
sold everything he did on that screen.
Oh, for
he
sure.
sold
Right.
his big cape. He sold the double blade like nobody's business. And you're like,
sold-
ah!
Switchblade.
He sold horns and a giant face tattoo. Like,
And you just bought it. Like,
who makes a character whose entire face is tattooed red and black? That's
Now-
crazy.
two tones. Shiny tones,
The
mind you.
only problem is we've seen that end in Rebels between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan,
Mm-hmm.
Who cares about
and
the
yet
end?
it's canon.
No, I'm just saying
What's
it's
that?
you want to see the progression. Like, you've seen the end.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, you have to realize
Well,
that
as
technically
far as
in,
in Rebels, though, they never see each other again until that moment.
yeah,
True.
sure.
I mean,
but
it depends on if you count Clone Wars as canon, and I think they do.
Clone Wars is canon.
Maul was in there a lot.
Yeah, but he and Obi-Wan,
Actually, I'm pretty sure they did.
no.
I can't be that crazy.
I don't
Can't
think
you?
he and Obi-Wan ever interacted again until Rebels,
Yeah,
and because
watch
it
this
was
shit.
the big moment. It was like he finally got there, but regardless,
they do memory
Ewan McGregor-
wipes or like something. There's a way around it.
Also, are we going to recognize Ray Park's face under? I mean,
no, we're gonna recognize Darth Maul.
no, that's what I'm saying. If Ray Park played a different character, would any of us be like, "Well, he played Darth Maul"?
Yes.
Like, no,
Yeah, I would.
no. If Ray
I
Park
would
shows
be-
as a different character, I'm like, "Dope, here's
No,
Ray Park."
I'm
think
gonna
some
be
people
mad
won't
if
care.
it's not him. Not because I care if he plays a different character, but because if you associate him with that production, then I want to see a build up or development in that character. Like,
I think you can.
Oh, I thought he beefed it.
You can still do it. It's the same concept with the Eternals having one girl
Gemma
from
Chan,
Captain
yeah.
Marvel come back. You can have people play multiple characters. It's just got to make sense.
see, I'm fine with that. I do want to see like some progression or understanding or some fill in for what happened eventually with Darth Maul, and I would like to see them expand on that.
Well, the one I kind of want to end with the best one, but
The
We already
Mandalorian.
talked about Moon Knight.
So
no.
excited.
The Rise of Skywalker, we got kind of a sizzle reel, kind of a few other scenes in that. There's a very, very divided Star Wars audience on this. I'm like, it's more Star Wars. Y'all shut up. I'm getting more Star Wars.
See, and I can't say that that's the best one for me because The Last Jedi made it just so where I just did like I'm excited because JJ's doing this one and he did a really good job on Force Awakens. But like I'm more excited for The Mandalorian because not only
We're
do you
getting
get,
to that.
this is
Eat
what
your
I'm saying.
vegetables before you eat your steak, okay?
You don't know me at
end
all.
with the last one, and then you said Rise of Skywalker.
You did.
I want
That's
to
what it
the best
sounded
one, I said.
like.
The
You want
best
to
one.
end with the best one,
Yes.
and then you said Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about the Mandalorian because that
Okay.
looks awesome.
Okay, so the Rise of Skywalker happened anyway.
Switchblade. Oh my god.
I saw that GIF over and over and over and
I don't
over
agree.
again.
Love
My-
it,
Of the
actually.
little, like, the nail clippers coming out. And
My favorite
actually don't
thing
mind it.
is
I thought
the
it was cool.
nerds who are like, I've analyzed this and I don't think she's actually going to the dark side. And we're like, well, no, duh.
No,
Yes,
obviously.
thank you.
Let it go.
Yes.
Watch the movie.
Luke showed up at the beginning of Return, all dressed in black, too. Did we think he was going to the dark
Like,
side? A little bit.
Disney
Oh, you
doesn't
did.
think they're tricking you.
Yeah.
It's
like,
the same
we
way with
didn't
The
think
Last
we
Jedi
were
when
being
she was
tricked.
holding Kylo's lightsaber. That had nothing to do with her going to
Yeah,
the dark side.
That's
Exactly.
my thing is like, I want to see the context. That's interesting to me. Okay.
I like the scenes that they chose because it doesn't really reveal a lot. It's just, hey, there's a trailer coming.
I mean, they don't have to. Like, you're going to see this movie,
Yeah, it's
right?
Star Wars.
Anyway,
I'm
here's
going-
some pictures from it. Let's
However-
move on.
Look at all the
I
pretty
would-
images.
Right.
This
Well,
is what she looks like in red. like,
I
And
know-
coming down
Work
the
it,
newest
Daisy.
fall style is going to be red and blue.
I was nerdgasming at the gathering of the Rebel fleet,
yeah.
the X-wings, the Y-wings. What's the original Tanti 5 or something? What's it called?
Taunted 5.
Say it again.
Taunted 5.
Okay, we'll go with your pronunciation.
Yeah.
Seeing that again, that gets me going. All right, and then seeing the Sith fleet, I'm guessing that's what that is.
That is definitely the Sith fleet, and they are armed with what looks like mini Death Star cannons.
I mean, that
Also, speaking of fashion, can we talk about Poe's outfit for a second?
No,
Did
we
look
can.
phenomenal.
Because, yes.
I would wear
I'm
that.
just
So
looking
he's
for
wearing
the
the
screen wipes, like really long, outdated transitions.
Can we get one of those that
I
starts?
actually took a photo of that still because I had to see everybody that was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can we get one of those where it starts as a heart and then it just gets bigger? Can we have one
Only
of
if
those
it
finally?
sparkles.
All
And
right.
it's an explosion of a planet.
I'm sure we're going to get a longer, more cohesive trailer later. But
Eventually, we're getting there. I mean, it's a
of
few
course,
months away.
more Clone Wars. We're getting the last season of that once that comes along.
Sure.
But The Mandalorian. Guys,
I'm so hyped.
I was wondering how this would look, and it looks great.
So, being a TV series, I was afraid that it was going to have a lesser budget. But man, it looks just like the movies would. Everyone's great. They showed IG-88, and I need to know more about
It's
those.
not IG-88, it is IG-11.
Is it not? I thought they announced that 88 was going to
Nope,
be in it too.
and it is voiced by Taika Waititi from Thor Ragnarok.
Taco? Is that what
I
you
said
said?
Taika.
Okay.
So he will be voicing
Taco said
IG-11, which, yes, it
But
is.
they did announce that some of the other bounty hunters were going to be in it.
Oh, yeah, they announced that there's other bounty hunters, but that particular IG unit that we saw is the one that he's voicing, and I'm ready for that.
I think it is probably quite a bit less money that they're going to spend on it, but I actually think that's just going to come out in the form of like fewer locations, which is fine with me. Like
They're definitely
I
using
assume-
build
Tatooine.
stories in
You
smaller
don't have to-
I
ways.
assumed they had done away with sets at this point and everything was on green screen. Is that not true?
I mean, they did a phenomenal job with green screen, but like,
It's not the cheapest way to do it. Like
Fair.
if you're going to do episodes, like you're going to get a team of makeup artists that like learn how to do her like things,
Yeah.
and it only takes 2 hours in makeup
And Doug Jones sitting over here in 17
wearing
hours.
like
goes, "Excuse
reverse
me."
high heels and tentacles of some sort.
But
Yeah.
we also got
Waving his
one of my
hands.
favorite actors, Mr. Carl Weathers, Action Jackson, Apollo Creed.
Holla.
He is basically kind of like a bounty hunter broker, if you would.
He'll always be the bounty hunter eyes to me.
Giancarlo
That's
Esposito, he is a
He's
moth.
the other one.
Like I looked at,
Swap it.
he's actually a moth because this is going to take place right after Return of the Jedi, when things are in real flux, and both the Empire and the Rebels, or they'll possibly be trying to undercut each other with bounty hunters, which is what I'm getting a vibe for.
Yeah.
So also, Gina Carano's in it.
Yeah.
Loved her in Deadpool. So,
Angel Dust.
yeah, bring her on. She's a total badass. She was great. Great fighter.
She's just
Oh, yeah.
so hot.
But the
Yeah,
bounty
right.
hunter doing more in a trailer than Boba Fett did in the entirety of the Star Wars series just made me so happy.
They came out after Star Wars though. It was like he was just supposed to be a dude, looked vaguely cool in a trash can suit. Like we didn't know you guys would like eat him up like that.
yeah, I mean,
I hope,
Get
we
it?
don't,
Eaten
I hope we
up?
don't see his
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Even though we know we've seen the actor, I don't want to see his face in the show.
was the
That would
Mandalorian.
be so rough.
I
Like,
think
you
You
that-
want to
do
do
it.
it all
He
with
doesn't
head
talk,
tilts,
but he doesn't
Like-
talk a lot in any of the scenes that we
Yeah,
saw.
I hope he takes off his little like breastplate and there's like a scrolling marquee of what he wanted to say, and you just read it.
It could go either way for me. I think having
No, I need
backstory
the
on a
audio
character
of
that
the
we've
speak
never
and
seen
spell.
before would be awesome. But it's just, I mean, I could take both quiet and silent and just awesome, and then I could take just like, here's his backstory and what caused him to become a bounty hunter.
You
I could
can't
take it all.
see his face like most of
Okay.
the time anyway. If he also like doesn't really talk that much, like which he doesn't, he's kind of silent type. You need to
We
see
definitely
his
did not
face.
hear a voice in that trailer, but
No, you didn't.
I'm just saying, like
Ladies
you
and
need
gentlemen,
one or
here
the
comes
other, or
Link.
it's just boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I was already going to watch this series,
Same.
Oh yeah,
Well, is he?
Day one.
Nobody was not going to watch
I don't
this
think-
series.
but it looks so good.
that's the hard part about the whole D23 thing is they're like, just slap together a presentation of some sort. We already have these people. We could just send them a slideshow and they would pay for our stuff.
It's true.
But
Apparently
you
you-
still have to make it.
Apparently, you were able to sign up early at D23 for Disney Plus as well, which I hate those people. So
What does that
Wow.
even mean?
That's
Would there be
manipulative.
anything on it?
I don't know. I think they get like they are going to get some sort of early access,
That's just opening credit.
which we need to find somebody that went
Just
to
the trailers.
D23.
They could show
Look,
them.
I'm going to admit it. We're going to need to kidnap somebody.
Don't say that on air.
We'll let him go eventually.
That does not make it not a felony, Jason.
If I'm going to let him go, it's not kidnapping anymore.
You should at least.
Or is it still?
No, that's not how that works.
I think if you hold them against their will, I think that
means you might
constitutes a
I
kidnapping.
think there's like a time limit.
That means you might not get life.
I just need their access.
You can't pick a random person and hold them for less than 48 hours.
Look, I'm not going to say, if I just
anything.
happen to be in Target and somebody's like, yeah, I got Disney Plus early. I was watching The Mandalorian. I'm not saying that I'm going to like borrow them.
We're going to teach Jason what premeditated means.
That's what I'm saying.
Near, if somebody were to do that to Jason while he's doing an important toy shopping run, do you think he would object to that?
I don't know. I went missing for 2 days when we went toy shopping, and he didn't come look for me at all.
There are several reasons no one would ever kidnap.
So I guess future shows are going to be from our garage.
Yeah.
Regardless, okay, Mandalorian, geez, I didn't expect it to look this good. I honestly didn't.
Really?
Unless they just show me all the best stuff, just here's the best stuff, everything else is crap, I'm so ready.
I didn't expect them to care enough to put together a trailer that good.
How many years have they said they were going to do some sort of Star Wars television series? How many times have we heard this empty-ass promise?
4.
If you're not including the TV series.
I'm older than you.
I don't know. I never believed it. I just kept watching Star Trek and didn't believe it.
They have promised me Star Wars series for so many years.
There's some of us when they don't say like a timeline or anything that I don't pay attention to them. They're like, we're going to do this eventually. I'm like, okay, let me know when it's next week, I guess.
You take everything with like a grain of salt when people announce when something's going to come out, because it's just, it's either going to or it doesn't. Stuff hiccups go along the way.
Looking at you, Sandman.
I was thinking the entire gaming. Everything in gaming.
I'm sitting here for Spider-Man 3. Okay.
Hey guys, when's The Last of Us 2 coming out?
Eventually.
Yeah.
Corey Balrog can tell you the hard way.
Man,
anyway.
Who else remembers when X-Men was going to release a horror movie?
That's the end of our show, everyone. Thank you so much.
No, it's not. I want to know, is Pedro Pascal, is he going to play this Mandalorian? Is he going to do it like Clint Eastwood in the spaghetti western? Or is he going to do it like Judge Dredd and not talk?
None of us know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about, and we've already talked about that. We don't know, and I don't care. I'll be good with either.
I don't know.
I expect
either one of those references.
I don't
you
think
don't
they
know
ate
Carl
a lot
Urban
of.
and Judge Dredd?
I don't think they ate a lot of spaghetti in the Old West.
He talked.
This is a good one.
Why is it?
But he never took his helmet off.
Oh yeah, and that was correct.
That was great. That's what
you're supposed to do.
About Western spaghetti? I'm confused.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Well, if you look at the Mandalorian, it looks like a Western. It's dirty. It looks a little bit like a Western. That's kind of what Han Solo and if you think about it, that's what George Lucas was doing.
Yes.
He was basing it off cowboy westerns and Buck Rogers.
Han Solo talked.
I beg your pardon?
Han Solo, he spoke.
He spoke to me on a prime level too. I appreciated what he did. No, I'm just saying. I wanted to just get your opinion on whether or not you wanted, because I think you were saying you want Pascal to talk, right? Yep. You don't want him to remain silent. It'll be boring after a while.
I think it'd be boring if you don't show his face and he doesn't talk, really. Like, you can't do both and give him a significant amount of screen time. You've given the actor nothing. You've given the people that are watching not enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he can't do even micro head movements. In that, he has to kind of be obvious.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So,
at that point, you have a Mandalorian on a stick walking around.
Yeah.
That's what I want in
most
front of
YouTube
a diorama.
I'm just saying, I would have liked what Urban did with Dredd, and he never took his helmet off. I'm just saying it's possible.
Yeah, but you can see
do one or the
that
other.
was a 2-hour movie, and you still got half the face. That's like me saying that Batman never takes off his helmet.
True.
It's the same amount of.
Do you take off your face?
So November 12th, 2019, bring this on. It launches on the same day Disney Plus.
It's It's day one.
Gotcha.
So November 12th, we just need off.
If there were none of the Marvel series that we talked about tonight going to be streaming on that app, and all they had to offer was the Obi-Wan and the Mandalorian, I'd still be buying it. But the fact that you're getting all of this, it's a bargain. I'm so excited for all of it.
Well,
I'm just gonna steal Jason's login.
If you were only gonna get like the Star Wars stuff, I would have done the same thing I did with like HBO for Game of Thrones. I just signed up for the month, watched what I wanted to watch, and then I haven't gone back and I've unsubscribed.
Like everyone has done with Stars for the past 5 years.
It's that exact thing. But they announced all that stuff, and I'm ready for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when does Netflix feel the pinch?
Right now.
Any minute now.
They've already dropped their stock with an announcement. So
Any minute now.
I mean, I'm not worried. Netflix will be around.
they'll be fine.
They'll be fine. That's our show. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure to go follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and many others at SCNS Live. But if you want to follow us individually,
Find me on Instagram at The Near Plasma and several other shows we do on this thing.
I just do the one. You can find me at Better Cat on Instagram, and yeah, if you count D&D, and on Twitter at Doa Drawings, where we tweet awful drawings. We draw things that Overwatch League casters say.
Truly terrible drawings. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, currently at Cass_Bradley. That's KAS_Bradley. And occasionally on the YouTube channel, Now with Milk, we release short videos every Wednesday.
You can find me at Bryce Culver on Facebook and Instagram. And also there is Trapdoor Toys on Instagram for toys for me.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JasonTheX. Also, check out our other shows, Alternate Heads and Anime TV. And also, are we coming back this Saturday for D&D?
I don't know. We'll talk about it later.
Saturday's ReaperCon.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, that's all we've got. As we always say, keep
Keep
on nerding.
Chubbs Peterson.
Is that your dad?
All right, that is our show. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to check out the live video version of this podcast, you can find it on Facebook and YouTube at SCNS Live. And if you want to join the SCNS Live community, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at SCNS Live. Thank you for listening and have an amazing week.
Nail it.